Hi, and welcome to this. This is the very first episode in the 4D Recruitment Method Podcast. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm very excited about this. But for you, maybe it's just another podcast. But hang around, people, because as the episodes develop, I will be sharing more and more tactics and ideas to help you to be able to grow a very healthy and very profitable recruitment business or recruitment desk. But before we get too immersed into tactics and strategies, you might be here wondering, what is this 4D thing and how does that link to recruitment and why does it become a method? Hey, I'm glad you asked, because whether you're interested or not, I'm going to tell you. So actually it takes us back a few weeks, right? Somewhere in the region of 5 or 6 weeks ago, I was having a conversation with a client as a piece of follow-up. So I'd done some work with them, which was a relatively small piece of work, like a day on site, had a couple of hours beforehand to be able to make sure that we were aligned and we had the right value propositions that we were building. And then we had a couple of sessions afterwards with everyone in the team. There was kind of like part accountability, part coaching, part kind of snag list fixing, which often happens when you are implementing new tactics and particularly creating change. So in the follow-up call, the owner of the business said to me, Jeremy, I'm sorry that I haven't been back to you for the last couple of weeks. Things have been going good. And in fact, the reason I haven't been able to get back to you for the last couple of weeks is things are going so good, I've just been too busy. And he went on to explain that with the shift in what they were doing in terms of sales planning and business development, and then how they were conducting themselves in their business development to create a more engaged prospect audience, now meant that they were fully booked with work that was scheduled, work that was booked on the calendar to deliver, and work that had been paid for, that they could see for the next 3 months they were at capacity, which is no mean feat, right? Particularly because the primary reason that they wanted to engage with me was they felt that they could be more considered with their BD, they could become more consistent with the work that they were winning, and they wanted to be able to move away from some of the peaks and troughs that are associated with traditional recruitment that some people call contingent. But anyway, it felt like his feedback was suggesting that shit worked, Jeremy, and we're very happy with it. And you know, that's what I do. So there may have been an air of surprise just how well it had worked for him, but I wasn't particularly surprised. I've been doing this for long enough to know if you put the work in, the results are going to come from it. But he also said something that for me was super interesting, because part of his own feedback loop was to catch up with consultants post-event, once they'd had a chance to actually adopt some of these behaviours, to find out how they felt about what they were doing. And a senior consultant in his team said to him, for the first time in my recruitment life, boss, I now feel like I am recruiting in 4D. 4D. Almost as if he was suggesting previously it was 3-dimensional recruitment, maybe 2-dimensional recruitment. There are recruiters out there who do 1-dimensional recruitment. But anyway, what he was suggesting was this was now an elevation from a lower level of dimension, 1D, 2D, 3D, to now 4D. And he said, having worked in recruitment for 9 years, I now feel like I truly understand what my purpose is, what the goal is, how we help our customers, and what it is that we truly fix. And now that I understand that, I know far more about how I can show the right route to market without it ending up being comparisons between agencies. So that's consultant feedback saying, 9 years of doing this, this now makes me feel like I have elevated what I'm doing to a new level. That's super cool. And the thing that made that really stand out for me was that in parallel, I'd been doing some reading that revolved around product development. And I'm a big fan of productization, and I think that products in recruitment are very powerful. I think they create tangible opportunities to be able to show people what you do rather than just talk about what you do. And I like products for my business. My business is very product orientated. And because I've been reading about product, one of the things that I'd read about was called the 4D approach to product. So when I heard that feedback from the client about the 4D experience, and I'd been doing all of this work about 4D product development, the two things just came together and like psh, fizzes and sparks, because that's a moment in time in terms of feedback. So that's where I've drawn this concept that is now the method that I share with business owners on how to be able to scale and grow their recruitment agency by creating true differentiation by adopting the 4D recruitment method. If you're interested in what the 4Ds are, the 4Ds are as follows. In order, sequence by sequence, right? The first one is discover. And obviously we know what discover means, right? It means we are seeking to ask questions to be able to discover things that will help us. And many people in recruitment already talk about things like discovery meetings. But I'm talking about taking those discovery meetings to a whole new level, to start to really get to the root cause of some of the challenges that clients and candidates might have, so that you start to be able to present yourself as being more valuable as a solution. So the quality of your discovery, foundation. Second is then design. And design is all about how. Design is the things that you pull together to start to show the client, this is how we would approach this as a project. As opposed to, here is a vacancy, we'll send you some CVs, let's see what happens. So the design element is how you pull together all of the components that you have, all of the weaponry that you've got in the toolkit, all of the products that you have developed to start to be able to lay them out in a useful fashion to show that this is the toolkit that is going to be most valuable to create the results that you're looking for based upon our discovery. So it may be that you have a toolkit that has 100 different tools in it, and you're then selecting what are going to be the right tools at the right moment to be able to show to this client to say, this is the toolkit that is required for this specialist job. And when I say specialist job, I don't mean the vacancy, I mean the specialist job as a project that needs to be delivered by somebody who knows their way around a meaningful recruitment project, rather than knows how to be able to scrape CVs and get them into somebody's inbox. So design is really important. And then it's about how we develop that. And how we develop that takes the how and turns it into the what. And it turns it into the what list of, this is what we need to do in this order. This is how we're going to start to be able to manage a project, create the right timescales, to create the timelines and the milestones, to agree with you the exact process that we're going to follow so that you as a customer feel in control. And what contributes to your confidence is your perception of how in command this recruiter appears to be. And at this moment, all comparisons disappear, because it is no longer possible to compare you to other agencies, because what you are doing as a behavior is so different. You don't have a competitor to compare to anymore. What you now have is an offering and a solution that can only truly be compared to either goals and objectives or the challenge and the problems that may lie ahead. And this removes the whole thing that is price-based buying, the suggestion that other agencies are willing to do it for less, and quack, 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 quack. Because your discovery has created the right design, the design has created the right development of product, and it is clear for everybody to see this is the most fit for purpose way to be able to solve this. And your language has shifted, so you're no longer talking about we can do this better or quicker or smoother or faster or whatever. You're now creating a product that is all about fitness for purpose based upon everything that we have learned in how we have onboarded the client. And then having onboarded the client, we then start to scope a project rather than pull a vacancy or take in a job. And then that leaves us with the fourth D, which is deliver. And how we deliver this, how we start to create the right experience for our customers, both groups of customers, client customer group, candidate customer group. This is what's going to create your brand and your reputation based upon the experience that is generated. And when you start to create the right experience, it then helps you to create brand enhancement opportunities in terms of how you now showcase this, that it significantly improves the quality of your business development, your outreach, and what you choose to do on social channels to start to be able to create a proof of concept without people having had to work with you to really start to recognize the difference. Because now the difference is the difference, and it's the difference of experience. So everything that I have pulled together from more than 20 years experience of working within the recruitment industry and leading learning and development initiatives in 24 different countries, having trained 12,000 plus recruiters on behalf of thousands of recruitment agencies, this is the distillation of everything that I believe will create the business that you want to own, the desk that you want to have, the rewarding feeling of delivering something that is so good in terms of fitness for purpose and so different from what they may have experienced from those that initially they may have seen as being your competitors that now no longer get mentioned at all. So that's where we're going with this. Every single episode that I share in this podcast is going to share with you a single tactic, a strategy, something to challenge yourself around as a thought process, maybe something to review, each of which becomes a component that the sum of which creates your interpretation of the 4D recruitment method. And as that 4D recruitment method starts to percolate through your business, I know that what you'll start to see is better quality results. But hey, if you just are happy to turn up for the podcast, I'm going to do everything that I can to keep them short so that they're easy to consume. I'm going to keep them very focused on actionable items, on tactical and practical things that you can do. And it is ultimately your decision to decide. Can I do something with that immediately? Can I take that and interpret it and think about how do I get that to work for me? Or on occasion go, I don't want that. But keep coming back, keep digesting each episode, and let's go on this journey together. So I think that's me saying end of episode 1. I do hope that you'll be back for episode 2. And if you like episode 2, you may as well come back for episode 3 and then start to make a decision as to, does it feel like there is merit in the components that Jeremy is sharing here that could have a significant impact on me and my business and the experience that I generate for my customers. And if you feel that it is likely to influence those in the positive, then why don't you subscribe in whatever your favorite podcast hosting channel is, and you'll never miss an episode. All right, people, have a good whatever it is that you're doing for the rest of today, and I'll see you in another episode very soon.